Jan Balaz v. Anand Municipality and Ors. Air 2010 Guj 21. Introduction. The case of Jan Balaz v. Anand Municipality and Ors is an important judgment of the Gujarat High Court dealing with the concept of Indian citizenship and the rights of foreigners under the Constitution of India. The case arose when Jan Balaz, a foreign national, challenged the actions of the Anand municipality and other authorities, claiming certain rights in India on the basis of long residence and humanitarian considerations. The main issue before the court was whether a foreigner or stateless person could claim the rights and protections that are available only to Indian citizens, and whether courts could grant citizenship or citizen-like rights outside the framework of the Constitution and the Citizenship Act, 1955. This case clearly highlights the distinction between citizens and non-citizens and reaffirms that citizenship is strictly governed by law, not by sympathy or long stay in India. Facts of the case. Jan Balaz and his wife were foreign nationals, parents not Indian citizens. Their children were born in India and were living in India since birth. The parents applied for Indian citizenship for their children. The local authorities, Anand Municipality and others, refused citizenship, stating that the children were foreigners under Indian law. The matter was brought before the Gujarat High Court. Jan Balaz and his wife were foreign nationals from Bangladesh who were residing illegally in India. During their stay in India, their children were born in Anand district, Gujarat. The parents applied to the Anand municipality for the issuance of birth certificates, and later claimed that since the children were born in India, they should be treated as Indian citizens by birth. The Anand municipality rejected the claim, stating that although birth certificates could record the fact of birth, they do not confer citizenship. Aggrieved by this decision, the parents approached the Gujarat High Court, arguing that their children, being born on Indian soil, were entitled to Indian citizenship. The case thus came before the court to decide whether children born in India to illegal foreign migrants automatically acquire Indian citizenship, and to interpret the relevant provisions of the Citizenship Act, 1955. Issues before the court. Whether children born in India to foreign parents automatically become Indian citizens. Whether such children are entitled to fundamental rights, especially Article 21, right to life and personal liberty. Whether denial of citizenship violates human rights and constitutional principles. The main issues before the court in Jan Balaz v. Anand Municipality and Ors were whether children born in India to foreign parents could claim Indian citizenship by birth, and whether such children were entitled to constitutional and legal benefits available only to Indian citizens. The court also had to decide whether mere birth in India is sufficient to acquire Indian citizenship, especially after the amendments to the Citizenship Act, 1955. Another important issue was whether the local authority, Anand Municipality, was legally bound to grant civic benefits and recognition as Indian citizens to such children. The case required interpretation of Articles 5 to 11 of the Constitution and the relevant provisions of the Citizenship Act, 1955, particularly in the context of children born to foreign nationals residing in India. Legal provisions involved. Article 21, right to life and personal liberty. Article 21 of the Indian Constitution guarantees that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to procedure established by law. This article applies to both citizens and foreigners and is one of the most important fundamental rights. The Supreme Court has interpreted Article 21 very broadly to include not just the right to live, but the right to live with human dignity. Over time, it has been expanded to cover many rights such as the right to livelihood, right to health, right to privacy, right to shelter, right to clean environment, and right to education. The procedure established by law must be fair, just, and reasonable, and not arbitrary. Thus, Article 21 acts as a guardian of personal freedom and protects individuals against unlawful actions of the state, making it the heart of fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution. Articles 5 to 11, Citizenship Provisions. Articles 5 to 11 of the Constitution of India deal with citizenship at the time of commencement of the Constitution and the power to regulate citizenship. These provisions are contained in Part 2 of the Constitution. Article 5 defines citizenship on the basis of domicile in India at the commencement of the Constitution. Articles 6 and 7 deal with citizenship of persons who migrated from Pakistan to India and those who migrated to Pakistan and later returned. Article 8 provides citizenship rights to persons of Indian origin residing outside India. Article 9 states that any person who voluntarily acquires the citizenship of a foreign country shall cease to be an Indian citizen. Article 10 ensures the continuance of citizenship rights as long as a person remains a citizen under the law. Article 11 empowers Parliament to make laws regarding acquisition, termination, and other matters relating to citizenship, under which the Citizenship Act, 1955 was enacted. These articles form the constitutional foundation of Indian citizenship and ensure clarity, continuity, and legislative flexibility. Citizenship Act, 1955, especially provisions relating to citizenship by birth. The Citizenship Act, 1955 is the principal law enacted by Parliament under Article 11 of the Constitution of India to regulate matters relating to acquisition and loss of Indian citizenship after the commencement of the Constitution. The Act provides various modes of acquiring citizenship, such as by birth, by descent, by registration, by naturalization, and by incorporation of territory, and also lays down provisions for loss of citizenship through renunciation, termination, and deprivation. In the case of Jan Balaz v. Anand Municipality and Ors, the provisions of the Citizenship Act were relevant because the court had to examine whether children born in India to foreign parents, surrogate children, could be treated as Indian citizens. The court relied on the Citizenship Act, 1955, especially the provisions relating to citizenship by birth, and held that citizenship in India is not automatic and must strictly comply with the conditions prescribed by the Act. Thus, the Citizenship Act, 1955 plays a crucial role in determining citizenship status. Judgment decision of the court. The Gujarat High Court held that citizenship is governed strictly by the Citizenship Act, 1955. Mere birth in India does not automatically confer Indian citizenship, especially after amendments tightening citizenship laws. The children in this case were not Indian citizens under the Citizenship Act. However, the court made an important observation. Even non-citizens and foreigners are entitled to Article 21. The children have the right to live with dignity, receive education, and enjoy basic human rights while residing in India. The state must treat them humanely and fairly, even if they are not citizens. In Jan Balaz v. Anand Municipality and Ors, the Gujarat High Court dismissed the petition and held that the children born in India to foreign parents who were illegal migrants are not Indian citizens by birth. The court ruled that Article 21, right to life, guarantees protection of life and personal liberty to all persons, including foreigners, but it does not confer citizenship. Citizenship in India is governed strictly by Articles 5 to 11 of the Constitution and the Citizenship Act, 1955, especially after the 2003 amendment, which requires that at least one parent must be an Indian citizen and the other must not be an illegal migrant for citizenship by birth. The court further clarified that citizenship is a statutory right, not a fundamental right, and courts cannot grant citizenship on humanitarian grounds contrary to law. Therefore, the direction sought to register the children as Indian citizens was refused, while affirming that they continue to enjoy basic human rights under Article 21. Ratio decidendi, legal principle. Citizenship is a matter of statute, not sympathy. Fundamental rights like Article 21 apply to all persons, not only citizens. Birth in India alone is not sufficient to claim citizenship. The ratio decidendi of the case is that Indian citizenship can be acquired only in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution, Articles 5 to 11, and the Citizenship Act, 1955, and courts cannot grant citizenship on humanitarian or equitable grounds. The Gujarat High Court held that children born in India to foreign parents who are not Indian citizens do not automatically become Indian citizens merely by birth in India. The court further ruled that Article 21, right to life and personal liberty, guarantees the right to live with dignity but does not include a right to Indian citizenship. Therefore, unless the legal requirements under the Citizenship Act are fulfilled, no person can claim Indian citizenship as a matter of right. This case clearly establishes that citizenship is a matter of law, not sympathy, and must be decided strictly according to statutory provisions. Significance of the judgment. Clarified the difference between citizenship rights and human rights. Strengthened the scope of Article 21, making it applicable to foreigners and children of foreign nationals. Reaffirmed that courts cannot grant citizenship contrary to statutory law. Balanced national sovereignty with human dignity. The judgment in Jan Balaz v. Anand Municipality and Ors. Is significant because it clearly clarified the position of children born in India to foreign parents, especially refugees, in relation to Indian citizenship. The Gujarat High Court held that such children do not automatically become Indian citizens by birth unless they fulfill the conditions laid down under the Citizenship Act, 1955, thereby emphasizing that citizenship in India is governed strictly by constitutional and statutory provisions and not merely by place of birth. The court also drew an important distinction between fundamental rights under Article 21 and citizenship rights, holding that while non-citizens are entitled to the right to life and personal liberty, citizenship is a legal status that can be granted only according to law. This judgment is important for LLB students as it highlights the limits of judicial sympathy in citizenship matters, reinforces Parliament's authority under Articles 5 to 11, and prevents misuse of citizenship provisions in cases involving illegal migrants or refugees, while still protecting basic human rights. Critical analysis. The judgment follows a strict legal approach to citizenship. While denying citizenship, the court adopted a humanitarian view by protecting the children's basic rights. Some critics argue that the law should be more child-friendly, but the court rightly left policy matters to Parliament. The judgment in Jan Balaz v. Anand Municipality has been critically analysed from both humanitarian and legal perspectives. On one hand, the decision strictly followed the constitutional scheme of citizenship under Articles 5 to 11 and the Citizenship Act, 1955, emphasizing that citizenship in India is based on law and not merely on birth or long residence. This approach upheld the principle of rule of law and prevented automatic or illegal grant of citizenship, which is important for national sovereignty and immigration control. On the other hand, the judgment was criticized for being too rigid and formalistic, as it failed to adequately consider the humanitarian aspect and the plight of stateless children who had lived in India since birth and had no effective nationality elsewhere. Critics argue that while Article 21 protects the right to life and dignity, the court did not extend its interpretation to provide meaningful relief in terms of legal identity or citizenship. Thus, although the judgment is legally sound and constitutionally correct, it exposes a gap between citizenship law and human rights concerns, highlighting the need for legislative reforms to address the problem of statelessness in India. Conclusion. The judgment in Jan Balaz v. Anand Municipality is a landmark case that clearly explains that citizenship in India is regulated by law, not by birth alone, while also emphasizing that human dignity under Article 21 is universal. The case highlights the role of judicial interpretation in protecting fundamental rights without violating statutory limits, making it highly important for LLB examinations. The judgment in Jan Balaz v. Anand Municipality is a crucial decision that reaffirms the principle that Indian citizenship is strictly governed by law and not by birth alone or long residence. While fundamental rights like Article 21 protect basic human dignity, they cannot override statutory provisions on citizenship. The case upholds the balance between human rights and national interest, making it highly significant for constitutional and citizenship law studies.